Welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Thursday, Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of Av, in the afternoon. We know the 9th day of Av is, of course, the day of mourning, the destruction of both temples. Many tragedies in the Jewish history happened on this day. But in the same time, it is a day that we don't say Tachlan, meaning there's a special part in the prayer that we skip, a part that we skip only during happy days, during holidays. Because this day is called Moed. It's called also a holiday. Sounds very interesting. And this is the day of mourning, day of destruction, yet it's called a holiday. Why? Because we know that the deeper meaning of the inside of everything is good. And our sages tell us that this day will turn into a holiday. So that is why even today we don't say Tachanun. We see the future, as we mentioned in the lesson in the Torah studies. So today we begin in chapter 4, letter 4 in Igeret, HaKodesh, which also talks about tzedakah and also talks about the redemption, but being redeemed. Being redeemed means not only physically being redeemed, it means also spiritually. It says Shchinta begelusa, the Shechina, the God's presence is in exile, and we need to redeem it. So it's going to be touching on this subject a little bit. It is about the concept of charity also, a different aspect of charity. So let's begin with charity. Tzedakah gedola, tzedakah shemekareves es hageula. Tzedakah makes the redemption come closer sooner. So, in this letter, as we said before, in the last letter was the Alter Rebbe sending out letters to his followers, encouraging them to give tzedakah, to give charity, even though in time of difficulties. And the way he does it is by explaining the very deeper meaning of what charity is about, the deeper effect of charity. The last letter we touched on one topic, one aspect of it. In this letter, the Alter Rebbe is going to teach us how the tzedakah, the mitzvah of charity, has the power of redeeming Israel from the exile, redeeming also the godliness that is hidden within each and every one of us. So let's begin inside. Says the Alter Rebbe. Our sages tell us, Maimonides rules, Ein Israel negolim elo b'tzedakah. Israel shall be redeemed only by virtue of tzedakah, by giving charity, giving to charity. Shene'ema, as it is written in the verse, this is we read last Shabbos, it says, V'shavea b'tzedakah, and her repatriates shall be redeemed through tzedakah. Those the captives, those who return through tzedakah, through righteousness. So the Alter Rebbe begins by introducing a couple of verses, asking some questions, and then going to explain a different topic, a concept, and coming back with the answer. The question, the verse number 1 that Alter Rebbe quotes is here, Ksiv tzedek lefanov yahalech. There is a verse that says in Tehillim, in Psalms, tzedek. Tzedek means like tzedakah, means righteousness, means charity. Tzedek shall go before him. The tzedek shall go before him. What does that mean? Tzedek shall go before him. It's like, you say something goes before you, leads you. But based on this, the word in Hebrew is a little strange. In Hebrew here, it doesn't, in Hebrew say go, you say yelech. Yelech means shall go. Here it doesn't say yelech, it says yehalech. Yehalech sounds like you're making something else go. Meaning that a tzedek, a charity, will make something else go. Will drive something else. in front of you. That's what the Alter Rebbe is asking. Now one should have expected the verse to say Yelech. Yelech means go. Yelech, by contrast, means that that causes other entity to go before him. Okay, so that's question number one on this verse. And the Alter Rebbe says we're going to explain it based on another verse that also needs clarification. This concept may be understood by considering the verse Al pi ma shekasuv lecho omar libi bakshu falai. On your behalf, my heart says, seek my face. This is a verse that we're going to start in a couple of weeks, in the month of Elul, the verse LaDavid Hashem Eiri. And in that verse, that chapter we're going to be saying throughout the month of Elul until after Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur and Sukkot. So the verse says, on your behalf, on Hashem's behalf, my heart says, seek my face. What is seek my face? The literal, simple understanding, Hashem says, I want you to seek my inner part. Face is panim. Panim means a face, means also pnim, means inward, the inwardness. However, the end of that verse says, Et panecha Hashem avakesh. God, I will seek your face. I will seek your inwardness. The Alter Rebbe comes and says, explains it a little different. Because, when you say, seek my face, then you say, God, I will seek your face, it's like you're talking about two different things. So why you mention again, God, I will seek your face? You can say, my heart says, seek my face, and indeed, I will seek your face. So the verse apparently says that, the way the Alter Rebbe explains, talks about two things. That Hashem, my heart says to Hashem, seek my face. My face means my own inwardness. That basically we're saying to ourselves that in order to seek Hashem's inwardness, we have to seek it, we have to find it deep, deep inside us. Seek my face, et panecha Hashem avakesh. Continues the Alter Rebbe and it says, Pirush, bakshu pnimi yisaleif. This means that man is being urged to seek the inwardness of the heart, that hidden element within his own heart that must be sought after if it is to be revealed. And this is what the tzedakah, what he will explain later, that tzedakah will enables us to reveal that inwardness of our own heart. The Alter Rebbe is going to explain. What does that mean? He's going to explain that there is the external part of the heart and there's the inward part of the heart. When you're doing something, you can do something externally and you can do something internally. What does that mean? We're not talking about just, sometimes you're doing something and you don't mean it, you don't care about it, you just do it. That's external. Internally, you can say that this is something that you mean. That's not what we're talking about. This is also two ways of the heart, but we're talking something deeper. We have the emotions and we have the intellect. Intellect creates emotions. There is a bridge between the intellect and the emotions. And if you're able to connect that intellect and the emotions, then what you think, what you understand affects you. Because you understand it. Some people are very, very smart. They can learn about what's happening in Africa, and it's not going to affect them. They understand every detail, it doesn't affect them. But sometimes if you contemplate and you connect to what you understand, you can create a feeling. You can create a feeling. That is why sometimes even children have this ability to connect to what they understand. They may not understand very deeply, but they connect. Whatever you tell them, they hear about something, they want it. They connect to it. That's why you can't tell a child before they go to sleep a horror story, because they're not going to fall asleep. They're going to be so afraid. Whatever they hear, they connect to. So this is connecting with your heart, which comes as a result of your understanding, a result of what you understand. You connect to it, and it affects you, and becomes, you develop feelings towards it, like a positive feeling, of negative feelings. You develop a feeling. But this kind of feeling that you've developed, it's called chitzoniyut halev. It's the external part of the heart. It comes with a system. It comes from the intellect all the way to connecting, understanding, until you develop the feeling. Then there is something which is much deeper. The pnimiyut halev is the core, the inside of the heart. That is something that triggers a feeling. It's not that something that can be explained. Something that is really part of you. Something you love your child, not because you just understood that this is your child and you have to love him. It is something that is in you. It is something that is one with you. And logic doesn't play a role there. It goes beyond logic. So he's going to explain that the same thing is true with our connection to Hashem. Our feelings, our emotions towards God can also have there's two types of emotions. There's emotion that is generated from understanding, and that is something that not everybody is the same. And it doesn't mean that a person who is smarter develops more feelings, but because it depends on the connection. You can have sometimes a person who is very limited in understanding, but if he connects to it, so whatever he heard, whatever he understood, triggers emotions in him. But this is all feelings that develop by emotions. But then you have a feeling that comes from the very core, in the neshama, in the heart, that is beyond logic. It is the essence of the godly spark that is in you and connects to the very essence of Hashem. And that is something that is hidden deep in the heart. And this is what we need to seek. We need to look for that part. So this is what the Alter Rebbe explains. Let's continue inside. There's the Alter Rebbe Pirush, Bakshu Pnimis Alev, Hine Belahav Yesoido Eisha Lekis Shebalev. For in the flame of the element of the divine fire that is in the heart, meaning within the soul's hardened love of God, which derives from the element of fire within the soul, as mentioned in Tanya, part 1, chapter 3. And he brings another version, Ine behalev yesoida eisha lekisa balev, or in the heart, the element of divine fire within the heart. Because there is the divine fire, and there's the element of water, which is the intellect. The divine fire represents the emotions. So that, says the Alter Rebbe, yesh beis bechinas. There are two aspects, bechinas chitzonius and bechinas pnimius. The aspect of chitzonius, the outwardness, externality, as opposed to the essence. And the aspect of pnimius, which is the essence, the inwardness of the heart. And the Alter Rebbe explains, Chitzonius alevi haislavus amislaheves mebchinas habina ve'adas begdulas Hashem insoy boto. The chitzonius of the heart is the ardent love that flares up on account of one's understanding and knowledge of the greatness of God, the blessed Ein Sof. When you contemplate about the greatness of Hashem, that everything comes from God. You yourself, your life is God. Everything is God. So you develop a feeling. You want to connect. You want to love Hashem. Meditating on His greatness, and from this contemplation, giving birth to a strong love resembling flashes of fire. That is the chitzoni selling, external part of it, external level of the divine soul. And there is a pnimius alev and a HaKodesh bepnimius alev ve'umka deliba. The pnimius of the heart, the inwardness of the heart, is the innermost point in the heart, the depth of the heart. Shehi lemaylo maylo mebchinas hadas v'atvuna sheyuchel ha'odam lesbeinim beliba b'kedulas Hashem. This transcends by far the categories of knowledge and understanding with which man can meditate in his heart on the God's greatness. That's not about this. This is the part of Hashem that it cannot be grasped by understanding. It's beyond understanding. It's not revealed in that way. As it is written, from out of the depth do I call unto you, O God, meaning from the depths of the heart. That's what the verse we say during the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah of Yom Kippur and Yom Kippur in the Psalms, Shir HaMalach and Menachem. And the Alter Rebbe says, he gives an example, he says, an analogy from physical life, from our own world. And in our own world, in the physical world, we do have also the same concept. Alter Rebbe is going to explain this. Sometimes people have something that they care about so deeply that they're going to talk irrationally, going to act irrationally. It's not something that they will rationalize. It's so something that it touches their core. If you take it away from them, it touches their core, and they're going to do everything to have it. It goes beyond logic. Certain things you understand, you want to get something, it makes sense to you, and you understand this is good for you, and you want to do it, and you want to have it, and you do whatever you can. But sometimes certain circumstances come, and you cannot have it, and you say, okay, now I have to part of it. But sometimes certain things is really, every person is different. Whatever touches, whatever reaches, really affects them so deeply that they're going to act irrational. על דרך משל כמו במילה דעלמא לפעמים יש עניין גדול מאוד מאוד שכל חיוס האדם תלוי בנגיע עד נקודס פנימיות הלב ועד בכלל. By way of analogy, there is a parallel in the worldly matters. Sometimes there is an extremely important matter upon which a man's entire vitality hinges. It touches him as far as and including the innermost point of his heart. Causing him to do things and say things without any reason whatsoever. For it touches the essence of his soul that transcends logic and reason. Let's say there was once they heard a mother that her child got caught under a car, and the mother picked up the car. There was something that touches the person so deeply, it reveals the deepest powers that a person has or doesn't have. Also revealed. As Alter Rebbe, similarly, the parallel to this is corresponding is in the neshama of a person. And the one corresponds to the other. The spiritual realm corresponds to the physical, just as worldly affairs sometimes touches a person so strongly that he acts without reason. It is precisely so with the service of the heart. A Jew's love for God may be so great that it touches his soul's essence which utterly transcends logic and reason. He says, as is known, this is because the innermost point of the heart transcends the faculty of reason, which extends and vests itself in the emotive attributes born of Chachma, of Bin and Das, Chabad. Meaning it's born of the three intellectual stages of wisdom, understanding, and knowledge that together constitute the intellectual process called Chabad. So that part in the heart, which is the Pnimis Alev, it's above. It doesn't go through this process of the logical process to be able to create a new emotion. Rather, the Pnimius of the heart is an aspect of the radiance from the supreme Chachma, which transcends Bina and Das. Chachma is the first part of the intellect, but it's beyond and above intellect. Chachma is the revelation from above. That is the godly revelation. And in this supreme Chachma, there is vested and concealed the actual light of God, as it is written, by wisdom, Chachma, God founded the earth. The two quoted Hebrew words literally mean God is in Chachma, meaning God's infinite light is clothed in Chachma. Hashem b'Chachma. Vehi b'chinas nitzitz elokushel k'chol nefesh me'Yisrael. And this is precisely the spark of divinity in every soul of Israel. It is this divine spark, utterly transcending reason, that gives birth to the love of God in the pnimius of the heart, that likewise transcends all reason. This is the part of the neshama that reveals anything beyond logic. However, that part of the neshama is in Golus, is in exile. That's what the Alter Rebbe is going to continue tomorrow. How we need to reveal that part. In connection of today's Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of Av, the story that our Siddur tell us about when the enemy came into the temple. They came into the temple. They were afraid in the beginning, and they asked a Jew that was a simulating Jew, that was ready to help them. They asked them to go into the temple first. And they told him, as a reward, he can take anything he wanted. Whatever he finds, he can take for himself. And he went inside the holy temple. And he took out the menorah. Golden menorah. And they told him, no. This goes to royalty. This goes to the king. Go in again and take again something that you like. And then the Jew said, no, I'm sorry. I cannot go in again. Once I did it, I cannot do it again. Make a long story short, they tried to bribe him, they tried to tell him, to convince him, nothing helped. To the point that they started torturing him. And no matter what how much they tortured him, he refused to go in again to the holy temple. What happened? The neshama, that little spark, that spark of godliness that was hidden, that was in exile within him when he came into the temple the first time, that part somehow was lit up. It was revealed. And the fact that they now trying to push him again, to convince him to go in again, that triggered again to light up this neshama. And he couldn't do it again. So this is the end of today's shir, telling us that we are able to find, it's our job to seek the part of the neshama, especially in a day like today. It says Hashem on Tisha B'Av, we're sitting on the floor, not the afternoon, we already get up, and then sitting on the floor represents we're sitting down here. That means when we are down here, Hashem, God is also down with us. It is a time when we are close to Him, and we can ask Him to take us out and redeem us. Let's hope that we have Mashiach even today. Before the day is over, we should have Mashiach. A wonderful day. We shall have only the